Today on CityCast Austin, if you haven't heard, the Texas Longhorns football season is underway, and that means it's time to tailgate. So, how does it work? Can anyone participate? And most importantly, where should you not drink? Spelling it all out are my guests, Laura Hall of the Texas Facilities Commission and a huge UT fan who tailgates at every game, home and away, Megan Grigsby. CityCast Austin is brought to you by our exclusive launch sponsor, Tecovas. It's Thursday, September 26th. I'm Nikki Devon, and this is what Austin's talking about. Hello, I'm here today with Megan Grigsby of UT Tailgaters and Laura Hall, Director of Commercial Parking and Special Events with the Texas Facilities Commission. And we are talking all things tailgating. It's football season. We're in full swing, so let's get into it. Hey, y'all. Thanks for being here.
Hi.
Hello. Thanks for having us.
Welcome, welcome. So why don't we go through one at a time and you tell me what your connection to tailgating is. Laura, do you want to start?
Yes, I'd love to. So I work at the Texas Facilities Commission. I'm in charge of commercial parking and special events. And one of our program areas is tailgating. We support all of the tailgating in the Capitol complex that's off campus, south of MLK. We have a lot of different tailgating and parking options. And I've been involved with this program since 2015. So quite a few seasons now.
Awesome. Megan, you want to go next?
Sure. Just a longtime Longhorn. Have been tailgating our group has been together for almost 20 years now. So We've been tailgating for quite some time. Of course, we just love the environment, love supporting the Longhorns, love supporting Texas, and love having a good time. You got to pregame a little bit before you go into the game, right?
You have to. You have to.
We feel as though we're getting close to perfecting that art. So.
Okay. Well, I personally remember tailgating vividly. I haven't been in a very long time, but I went to UT. But even I feel like I went to more tailgates after I left UT than I did when I actually went to school at UT. If for some reason it seemed like much more, I don't know, it seemed like a way more fun thing to do as an adult because I had like friends whose families had places, they had like spots that they had been in for forever. It's it feels like a family reunion, honestly. It used to. I haven't been in a long time. So tell us, Laura, Megan, either of you, tell us what tailgating literally means. And what do you think it brings to the city of Austin and to UT?
Well, if we're going literal, I mean, it started off, right, with pickup trucks, popping the tailgate, a couple of friends with some cooler, and you sit on the tailgate, you throw some music on, have a good time. But I think nowadays folks would agree that tailgating has evolved into quite an ordeal. There's several professional groups that'll set up your tailgate for you. You can set up your own. But really, for me, it's just about, it's a sense of community, getting together with friends. You have common interests. You're supporting a team that you love. And I think you hit the nail on the head when you're talking about family and groups. And it's some of these folks you don't see except for football season, but you've known them for years and years and years, going on decades. So it's kind of fun to get together. It's a weekly family reunion for 3 months in the fall. So that's what it is for us.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, Megan, that's exactly true. Even all the tailgate groups that tailgate in the Capitol complex, some have been tailgating for years, and fathers have passed down their tailgates to their sons. I have mothers that have passed on their tailgates to their daughters, and we have a lot of social groups that have come over from UT that tailgate in our area. And I can't tell you how true it is that it's really an experience where people get together. Sometimes they don't see each other all season. I have one group that I see once a year, and they say they don't even talk to the other people in their tailgate group until football season. And it's so interesting. And then they're like the best of friends, like nothing separated them. And it's just a completely different environment that really builds friendships. And of course, you have the people that do communicate all year and have these elaborate tailgates that they've planned for months and months and months. But you've got a big, broad spectrum, and you've got a very inclusive fan base. And one other thing I would love to say is that when opposing teams come and they park in our garages and they're visiting for the first time, they can't even fathom how friendly everybody is. So they're like, this wouldn't happen in our country. The opposing team would have to be in another parking lot or another garage or on the other side of town. So it's a real privilege to be part of this program and to have that friendliness just come through for all aspects of tailgating.
You both have brought up how friendly Austin is and how it just kind of honestly, it does. We treat everybody like family, especially football season. It's just one of those times. It's one of those times where you want to talk to people, you want to be friendly, you want to get to know each other. But what do you think it feels so tailgating feels special to me, I think just because I went to UT. But what do you think tailgating brings to the city in general? Like what do you think it brings to the city?
Yeah, I can say so. I tailgate. I go to every game home and away. So I've experienced Texas tailgating and tailgating all over the country. And I will say Austin is a really unique space, welcoming people. The way we always look at it, like we'll actually holler at opposing team fans that are walking by and be like, "Come on, join the group, have a couple beers, see what we're all about."
Yeah.
Because for me, I want people to love Austin. I want people to come back to Austin. I want people leaving here saying, "Oh my gosh, I had the best time I've ever had at a football game in Austin, Texas." And I mean, tailgating is a big part of that, big part of the athletics, but having that friendly environment where people, come enjoy the tailgating, hope they don't enjoy the game results, right? But hope they enjoy the tailgating. That leaves them wanting to come back. And it's great for the community. It's great. I mean, hotels are always booked when people want to get there, and they get there early to experience Austin. Local businesses, as far as vendors and caterers, and I mean, just all kinds of people get involved. So I think it does have a huge impact on Saturdays, on the weekends in Austin, has a huge impact on the local community.
It certainly does have a big impact on the local community. And I feel that with working for the state, we're also mini ambassadors. A lot of people understand that UT is a huge campus and they're very familiar with that. But sometimes the state feels a little like it's it's something that's an unknown. And when they can say that they're tailgating on state property and they're meeting state vendors, they're like, "Oh, okay, this is part of not only city pride but state pride."
Yeah.
And so it is a great feeling to be involved and to represent not only our city but our state. And the economic impact that you mentioned is true. We have people coming from all over that are spending dollars here in our state, and it's really a benefit when they're able to say they had a great experience and to come back.
Just reeling them
Oh,
in.
yeah.
So, say I want to start a tailgate. Say I've decided after all these years I want to have my own tailgate. Laura, first walk me through the process. How do you do that on state property?
Mhm. Well, we have a couple options. We have some reserved spaces. Those are reserved for all the games for the season for the same tailgate group. And those are reserved year after year. So they have the right to renew. So if a group should move or somebody graduates and they're not going to do a tailgate again, then those spaces can be available for somebody else. So we have a wait list. We have limited spaces now because we've had a lot of expansion in the Capitol complex. We've done away with some of our surface lots and created new state buildings. So the landscape's changed a little. So we recommend that if you're interested in a tailgate for the season, to get your name on that wait list. And as spaces become available, you'll get an offer of what there is, and if you like the space, then you're able to reserve it. We also have a very limited amount of first come, first serve, so people can just wait on Friday night, Friday starting at 6 p.m., and they can get those spaces, and they have them for Friday, Saturday, and they can even stay till Sunday if they have an RV. And then we have a new option where if you wanted to have a tailgate and maybe you're coming from out of town, we have a lot that's right up by the UT athletic fields. It's a little further away, but it's at 51st Street. We have a huge parking lot up there that can accommodate RVs. That's also first come, first serve. So you can just drive up and pay for some parking spaces. You can set up a tent, set up your barbecue, and then there's a shuttle that'll take you to the stadium. So we have a couple different options to accommodate different types of groups.
When should people get on that wait list? Are we talking about at the end of this season, you need to put your name on the wait list for the next season? Or is it something that you can just do like earlier in the summer?
You certainly can sign up anytime. We have also people that have reserved spots that sign up for the wait list again. They want a better spot. So they're looking to see what's available.
Okay.
So you're welcome to sign up anytime. And we have a lot of people, of course, because it's tailgating season, we get a lot more traffic to our website right now than, say, after the season concludes. But
Right.
yeah, you're welcome to sign up anytime and you'll be on the list for next year. And yeah, it's a great time.
And you said that people for the first come, first serve slots, you said they can come at 6 p.m. on Friday. Now, when you say they can come at 6 p.m. on Friday, you mean they can literally come and camp out 6 p.m. on a Friday and just be like, this is my spot.
Well, actually, they get in line for spaces. So they don't physically stake out a parking spot, but they get in line. And yes, they can purchase their spots on Friday night. And that's when our tailgating actually begins for all of the people that have reserved spaces. We have tailgating starting at 6 p.m. We have signage all throughout the Capitol complex that says, which lots are reserved. We have areas of grass that are available where people are starting to set up at 6 p.m.
Okay.
And then we also have some areas that are not available for tailgating that are protected. And those signs are up as well.
Okay. Now, so Megan, same for you. I want to start a tailgate.
Sure.
What do I need to know about the UT process? Because how have y'all held on to your spot for so long? And also, where is it in case I want to stop by?
Sure. So I will say the University of Texas at Austin is really unique. Many schools around the country, you have a reserve spot that you pay for, and you have to stay within the confines of that painted off parking spot in a parking lot. Texas is different. Texas allows you to park and set up on grassy areas, or, as long as you're not blocking sidewalks, you can set up on grassy areas all around campus. So that's a really unique thing that UT offers. So for us, it's convenient because a lot of our season ticket holders, like, for example, I have a baby blue parking pass, which is over by the San Jacinto garage. So we set up kind of in that grassy area by the San Jac garage where people drive in. But we have quite a big tailgate setup where we're anywhere between 10 and 15 tents that we set up, the 10 by 10 tents.
What?
We have an average of 200 people, give or take, any given game.
What?
So we get there quite early. I actually take our trailer out Friday night, and I'll park the trailer and set up the tent frames. And then, again, one thing I do really love about Texas is that there's a mutual respect amongst tailgaters. So folks that have been there for a long time, you get your spot. There's kind of that nod towards seniority, right? If you've had your spot for quite some time, the general consensus is you tailgate where you tailgated forever and ever. If you're new to the scene, you're welcome to join a tailgate or set up your own, but be respectful of the areas for us old timers that have been doing it for quite some time. So if as a newbie, if you wanted to join, there are several ways you could get a parking pass through the University of Texas Athletics. And you could set up near, on campus. If you find a free space, you can set up near where your parking is. Or a lot of people will actually, again, set up the night before and then park their vehicles just slightly off campus in the paid city spots or some free spots if you can find those rare gems. And then they'll haul their stuff over for the day of.
So now 10 to 15 tents.
Mm-hmm.
How many of you does it take for that Friday night setup? Because you said 10, 15 tents, about 200 people. That means you're feeding 200 people. 200 people are drinking. 200 people. So what's your setup like?
So it really depends the night before. So it can be one person setting up the night before where it takes up a little bit longer time. Again, we put the tent bases out just to kind of save the space, mark our territory, if you will. And then in the morning, it is a crew of folks. And we do always ask for volunteers to show up early. I think our tailgate is a little more advanced than some others might be, a little more formal. We actually have a Slack group going on. We have a board of directors.
Wow.
We have people that because once you get to a certain size, it really does require a lot more organization and understanding, who's going to be there, who's helping with what.
Yeah.
We have a cooking crew, we have a setup crew, a breakdown crew. But yeah, I mean, any given time in the mornings when we show up to really truly put the tailgate together, we've got anywhere between 6 and 10 people helping in the morning, and then more so in the evenings to break down. And again, our tailgate's very fortunate. We've been doing this for a long time, and we're sponsored by Corona. So we pick up our beer and our drinks.
Wow.
Yeah, we pick up our drinks on Wednesday, put them in the trailer, set up, basic setup Friday night, and then Saturday morning the whole crew shows up. And then we get cooking in the morning, and we don't stop until the game is done. So it is quite the ordeal. Yeah.
So, is there any kind of permitting involved to tailgate? And if so, what does that cost?
So we have parking permits, parking tickets that allow people to park in our reserved lots. It's just you're paying for each parking space. And then also in our garages, we lease a couple to UT. So they provide parking permits to Foundation. And then in our public garages, it's also pay to park. So other than that, on our state property, when you're establishing a large tailgate with tents and so forth, there's no other permitting required other than paying for your parking space. You get your location, you pay for your parking, and in our case, parking and tailgating is synonymous. But some people do park in a garage and then walk to a tailgate. We get that as well.
And so the same for UT, you just pay for that spot, right?
Yeah. So where we're at, you don't technically pay for where your tailgate is set up. You pay for the parking to park on campus for the parking pass, right? And we happen to set up close to where most of our parking passes are.
Do the prices for parking change for different games?
We do have a parking fee that's higher for the parking lots closer to the stadium. And then also we have a premium rate for the major games. So for Georgia, Florida this season, and then also for the playoff game, if we should get a December option game, there will be an increased price for that as well.
For us, it is, again, if you're a Foundation member and you've paid for your parking through athletics, that is a flat rate for that parking for the season. You buy the season passes.
Right.
However, a lot of people do go on to third party options and purchase those parking passes. And in that case, yes, you definitely see a premium go up and down.
Do we have any kind of numbers? Like, do we know how many people tailgate, how many tailgate participators there are at UT and on state property? Do we have any numbers?
I don't think we've ever looked at a solid number. I typically will look at the stadium attendance as a gauge for if it's going to be a busier game or not and sold out tickets. But because there's such a large area surrounding the stadium, and it's not just the campus and the Capitol complex, but there's a lot of businesses in the area that tailgate separately as well.
Right.
There's tailgates that are integrated very close to the Capitol complex. And then there's also a lot of people that will tailgate and not go to the game. They'll watch it on a TV and tailgate and go home. We have some groups when they have parking spaces, not only do they have tents, but they have, some music, they have their TV set up. So yeah, I mean,
love it.
We agree that once the game starts, you lower your volume so everybody can enjoy the game and make sure that it's a good environment so you can pay attention to the game itself and you're not blowing out your eardrums with music. But yeah, it's a great environment for that.
Yeah, I mean, I would estimate really on the low end. I don't think it's an exaggeration, especially if you're considering, Longhorn city limits, like what the Texas Athletics puts on. I think 70,000 is a low estimate. just with the number of people that are coming through, that are there, staying on campus. And then, the stadium holds 100, 105,000. So to me, seeing as many people come through Bevo Boulevard and Longhorn City Limits and Smokies Midway and things like that, on top of tailgating groups that have been on campus proper. And then, like Laura was mentioning, you've got these rings that go out farther and farther. I mean, you'll see tailgate groups across I-35 over near the baseball and tennis courts. You'll see them, like Laura mentioned, at different businesses around the area. So considering the footprint of campus and, game day itself, yeah, I would easily say 70,000 are tailgating at any given weekend. And of course, that number fluctuates depending on the game.
I mean, it is definitely a citywide thing. And I forget also, Laura, I love that you brought this up. A lot of times people don't even go to the game and they tailgate, they tailgate and they watch the game either from the tailgate. I mean, there's definitely times where I've seen like big TVs playing the game at tailgates, which I think is amazing. So yeah, I forgot about that altogether. We love our tailgates. Oh my goodness.
And we have a lot of people also in at least our area where they're coming to the Capitol. They're coming to the Bob Bullock Museum. They're going to the Blanton Museum of Art, and they don't even know that there's a football game going on. They're from out of town. It's not their team.
Bless their hearts.
They're not sure about, like, where did all this traffic come from?
Welcome to Texas.
Yeah. And we have a beautiful new Texas Capitol Mall, which is the grass area from the Capitol all the way to UT proper. There's no tailgating in that area. We have it marked so that they know not to use that area for tailgating. We have some tailgating on the periphery, on the other state grass areas and plazas, but not on that mall. That's a public area. And there are sometimes kids, throwing a frisbee or playing with a football and coming here for completely other reasons besides tailgating. So they get to experience tailgating because they get wrapped up in how exciting it is. And it's just like one of those added bonuses when they get to Austin.
Oh, I love that.
I'm really proud of Texas tailgaters all over campus. Like I mentioned before, I've traveled around the country. I've tailgated a lot of places, and both with UT's facilities, and I'm sure the states too, and the tailgaters, it is this awesome collaboration where we recognize that we're having a great time, but we have to respect the area. And I can tell you when we leave, UT facilities comes by and they give us recycling bags, they give us trash bags. Like I mentioned, we have a ton of people come through, but every single tailgate, the area is clean. We don't leave any trash. I've been shocked at other places where you walk through post game and it's just garbage everywhere, all over. And
what?
Yeah, I mean, it's for me, as a Texas fan, it is shocking at other places. So it gives me a sense of pride for Texas and Texas fans on how we coordinate and respect the space and respect the area. And I think that's a big part of the reason that we've been allowed to do this for so long, is because we take care of campus, we take care of the state property, we take care of our area and keep it really nice.
Hey y'all, it's Nikki. I have to tell you about Tecovas boots. I finally have a pair, and I don't know if y'all know this, but they're handmade, high quality, stylish, and they were comfortable right out of the box. Now, I know we buy everything online these days, but trust me, go get fitted for some boots at Tecovas, and they will also personalize them with leather stamping. So grab a friend and head on over to the Tecovas flagship on South Congress or their store at the Domain. Plus, good news, Tecovas is opening a brand new store for your Western wear needs just north of Austin on Main Street in Georgetown. So swing by for their grand opening party September 27th through the 29th for live music and freebies for the first 50 of y'all that get there. With 3 locations in town, you have no excuses. So that's tecovas.com, TECOVAS.com. Don't go gently, y'all. So let's say I'm just coming down to check out the scene and participate in some pregame fun. I did not plan ahead of time, so I don't have, which is really on brand for me. Let's say I want to come down and have some pregame fun. where should I go? Like, what do I need to know? Where do I start?
Well, I think probably the best thing to do would be to go to a public parking garage, park your vehicle. We have quite a few here in the Capitol complex. They're posted on our website. You can park in a public garage and then you can walk. And like Megan said, a lot of tailgates are very welcoming. So as you're walking through, some may like flag you over, like, come over here and check this out. But as you get closer to campus, you'll find a little bit bigger setup. You'll find some open to the public, like Scholl's Garden, which is in the Capitol complex, a restaurant. They have a full street closure on 17th Street. From San Jacinto to Trinity, there's a 1 block street closure, and they have some vendors there that are giving away samples. Vendors, you can buy lunch, you can have a drink, but then you can also walk further onto campus, and there's Bevo Boulevard. There's a lot of pregame activities. You can see Bevo. I've seen Bevo several times being trailered into the game. It's just amazing when he's driving down the street with his escort. And then you can also see some of the other social clubs that are in and around the stadium. So there's a lot of activities from everywhere from where you park all the way into the game. And again, you don't have to go in, but there's a lot that you can do in the community as you're getting closer to the stadium. And I'm sure as you walk around, just seeing the attire of both the UT students and the fans, as well as the opposing team, like there's some pretty exciting people watching going on too. So just walking down the street, I think you could have a really good time.
There's a lot of places around campus. The state complex, the Capitol complex is a great option. There are definitely some spaces. Local businesses offer places. But yeah, I mean, again, we've talked about how friendly Texas tailgaters are and just the community in general. Pop in, be happy, ask if it would be okay to pitch in, hey, can I join your tailgate? Throw a little bit of money their way. I think you'd be surprised at how many people are like, heck yeah, man, come on in. And also big shout out to Texas Athletics and CDC for what they've done, really creating an amazing game day on campus. So like Laura mentioned, Bevo Boulevard, there's a lot of vendors, a lot of activity. You can get food and drinks. Smokies Midway has literal carnival games set up, a Ferris wheel, a rock climbing wall, all kinds of stuff for families, kids to do. And then Longhorn City Limits, which is over on the LBJ lawn, that has an amazing act every time. We've had Nelly. We've had Salt and Peppa. We had Midland come recently. I mean, Asleep at the Wheel. There's all kinds of great acts across all kinds of genres, and it's all absolutely free to show up and participate.
What? You are blowing my mind. You are blowing. Texas is going Texas. That's all I have to say.
Yeah.
So you did mention that you could buy food and drinks, right? So there are vendors there. And are there places that we should not be drinking? Like, I know there are vendors everywhere, but I'm sure there's got to be places where it's like, you cannot drink here. Because what I don't want to do is tell people, yeah, pop open your beer, walk around, talk to people, go to the Capitol Mall with a beer. Don't get anybody arrested.
So for us, you didn't hear it from me, right? Of course, there are open container laws generally, but I will say, as long as you're not acting like a crazy person, as long as you're not acting like a complete fool, on game day, there is an unwritten rule that be cool and they let things go. So the tailgate areas, certainly we can have our open containers, we can drink, don't litter, don't be a jerk, don't get at it, don't be belligerent. But in our experience, we haven't had any issues with people taking a drink or two as they walk to the stadium. And of course, get to that area. Again, throw your stuff away, recycle. But so for on campus and around that area, both UTPD and APD are pretty relaxed about it, as long as you're acting like a civilized human being as well.
Very similar for us. When you're coming to tailgate in the Capitol complex, if you drop your tailgate and have some food and beverage, that's fine. If you're walking around, that's fine. We don't have any sales on state property, so you're not able to buy food and drink on state property. Nobody's allowed to sell it or sell merchandise on state property, so no sales at all. But there are some social groups that if you want to like pitch in a donation for a nonprofit, like there's opportunities like that where you're able to support some great nonprofits and join tailgates. So there's no lack of food. There's no lack of of drinks.
If you end up hungry, that's your own fault.
Yes.
I can pop open my tailgate and drink a beer with my friend on my tailgate. Is that right?
Definitely. We have people that will drink and eat in the garage. We don't allow tent setups or grilling in the garage. No established tailgates.
Yeah.
We do have a few tailgating prohibited areas that are well posted. So we try to be as open and transparent as possible so you know where you're allowed to be and what you're allowed to do and have a great time.
That's awesome. So now I know you mentioned the mall already, because I know, back when I want to say the last time I tailgated, that was a clear area when you used to be able to park in the state parking lots where the Capitol Mall is now. I worked for the state, and I would get off work and I'd come down on a Friday, and they would tell us like, all right, make sure y'all's cars are gone because, the tailgating is coming through. And it feels good that still exists. This like happiness about just really, because essentially what it really is a family reunion. It's just a place where everybody is outside talking, sharing food and drinks. How has the tailgating scene changed over the years?
Well, we used to have a lot more surface parking lots, like big parking lots. And we're talking hundreds of tailgaters in front of the Bullock Museum, right as you're going from the gateway to the campus.
Yeah.
And now we have a beautiful building there. That's the entry to the Capitol Mall. We have two other buildings that are now under construction. So if you happen to drive through the Capitol complex, you'll see a couple like construction fences. We're going to have some multi-story buildings there. And those used to be tailgate areas. So for the Capitol complex, our surface parking lot has decreased. So a lot of those tailgate groups have either moved locations or they've gone onto campus, but it has shrunk the program considerably in terms of, those tent setups, the barbecue setups. We've tried to open up some of our other grass areas for tailgate, like reserved grass areas, but that's very limited.
Megan, what have you noticed? How have things changed?
Yeah, and I think it's in direct correlation to what Laura's talking about. We've seen where it used to be a few small tailgates here and there. We've definitely seen an influx of people coming to our area and setting up their tailgates due to construction, due to surface lots kind of going the wayside. But again, everybody gets along really well. We bring a smoker. We have a smoker every game. And so we've got that going the whole day. We've got a kitchen area. We've got an open bar area. So when I first started tailgating, I was literally the kid that showed up with a truck, a cooler, and a chair and said, hey, can I join? And you guys aren't playing music. Let me open my truck doors and play some music, right? And now it's evolved to this crazy, highly organized. We've got sound equipment, TV equipment, I mean, it's bonkers. But so for me and our group specifically, we've certainly seen the evolution start from just a basic tailgate, which you probably vision in your mind, to a full-on production. But it's definitely, we've seen more people join, more people set up larger tailgates. You see custom tailgate trailers that people open up and pop, and TVs are connected already, and it's just kind of this ready-built Transformers like situation. It's great to see. Again, as Texas, we don't do anything small, right? In Texas, if you haven't been in a while, I highly recommend checking it out and just experiencing all that Texas tailgating is, because it's a show. It's like nothing else.
I feel like being back in the SEC is going to add a flavor to tailgating, maybe that we haven't had in a long time. What do y'all think about that?
I would agree with that. We've just speaking from experience, in the past prior to us joining the SEC, during the LSU game in 2019. I mean, that was bonkers on campus. The hype was high. Things were crazy. We had this is going to sound insane, y'all, but we had so many people at our tailgate for that. We had an ice luge that had LSU on one side and the Longhorn logo on the other. And we were perhaps drinking a tasty adult beverages from that.
Yes.
We go all out for these big games. The Alabama game, was monstrous. We're preparing for a really huge influx of people. We're expecting about 500 people at our tailgate for Georgia. So the SEC, it means more, right?
Yep. Bigger and better.
Yeah, absolutely. I think especially in these first few years where we're seeing schools come to Austin that we haven't seen before, just really passionate fan bases coming to check out Austin and see what UT is all about. I think we're going to see some really amazing things at tailgating. I think the rivalries are going to be building up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, renewing some old rivalries and perhaps developing some new ones. But having new people come to Austin from really football crazy areas and see how we do it, I think you're going to see a pretty big change for the positive, and it's going to be a lot of fun. The party keeps on going.
We're looking forward to that positive energy coming from all these away schools too, and some of them travel really well. And so we've been partnering with UT. The state has been partnering with UT to provide a shuttle service from 51st Street. It's up at next to the UT athletic fields, Wright Fields on 51st Street. There's a large state parking lot, and we've been calling that a park and ride, RV parking. There's shuttles that will take you from there to the stadium. So you can also bring your RV, stay overnight. You don't have to drive home. And it's also a great spot to have a larger tailgate because we have such limited space in the Capitol complex. We really are looking at the SEC as a game changer. And with all these new schools and all these people traveling in to watch the game, we need to be aware that we have to have a better option for them. We can't fit everybody in our little core around the stadium and the Capitol complex. So we've been really trying to partner and make sure that we have some options for people that are driving from other states coming here, and we want to make sure that they have enough room to enjoy a tailgate like they would at home. So we really hope that park and ride is a great option for them, and they can enjoy their own tailgate, and then they can get onto campus and have a great time as they go into the stadium too.
No big deal. We're just rolling out the orange carpet.
Yeah.
Just so our new SEC friends can feel welcome and wanted. And I love that. I am here for it. Is there anything else that you want people to know about tailgating this season that we haven't covered?
I'm going to say it's also very family friendly. It's adorable when you see the little girls in their cheerleader costumes and the little boys in their jerseys. It really is. I mean, we say family friendly and we think drinking, and yeah, we have all that, but we also have this culture that we're passing down to the kids. And so having the kids come out with their pom-poms and the cheerleaders and the little football players, I just want to make sure everybody knows it really is a family event. And there's a lot for the children to do too.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, there are certain tailgate groups that might be a little more family friendly than others, but but I agree wholeheartedly. The last thing I would add is that if you do show up, people are going to be welcoming and they're going to have you there. But just remember, it is a lot of work. It does cost a lot of money to do this. So contribute. That's all I would delicately offer. Be sure that you contribute a little bit when you come. People are welcome to have you, but don't be the mooch.
Listen, my dad used to always say, "Pay what you weigh." And so it's like whatever you take out, make sure you put back in, and that's perfect for tailgating. So you guys, thank you so much for being here. This has been awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope to see you out there, Nikki. This has been great. Thank you.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you.
That's all for today here on CityCast Austin. You can find links to the Texas Facilities Commission and UT Tailgaters, as well as Megan's social media in our show notes. If you enjoyed the show, why not tell a friend, rate the show, leave us a review, and subscribe to our Hey Austin newsletter. We'll be back tomorrow morning with more news from around the city. Bye, y'all.